Welcome back, everyone. I am so thrilled to have you here for today's explainer. Look, if you've spent literally any time online, or, just talking to friends lately, you've absolutely heard about the keto diet. It's massively popular, right? And it's surrounded by these incredible success stories. But let's be honest, there's also a fair bit of confusion out there. So today we're just going to cut right through all that noise. We're taking a super clear, totally unbiased look at how the ketogenic diet actually works, what it does to your body, and how you can navigate its unique challenges. Let's get into it.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover the science of ketosis, then the macro math. After that, building your keto menu, surviving the keto flu, breaking through those stubborn plateaus, and finally, some risks and reality checks.
All right, starting us off with Section 1, the science of ketosis, and really understanding that metabolic shift.
To really wrap our heads around this diet, we have to ground all that hype in actual, measurable science. See, normally, your body is what we call a sugar burner. It runs happily on glucose, which it gets from carbohydrates. But when you severely restrict those carbs, your body kind of hits the panic button for a second, and then it adapts. It completely shifts its primary fuel source. It starts breaking down stored fat in the liver, which produces these alternative energy molecules called ketones. So by strictly limiting your carbs, you are literally forcing your body to undergo this massive metabolic shift, going straight from being a sugar burner to a fat burner.
Now you're probably wondering, just how many carbs are we actually talking about here? Well, to trigger and then maintain this state of ketosis, most people need to cap their intake at somewhere between 20 and 50 grams of net carbs a day. To put that relatively tiny number into perspective for you, a single medium-sized banana has about 23 grams of net carbs. Yeah, that means eating just one banana could literally max out your entire daily allowance and knock you right out of ketosis. So we're talking about a highly drastic reduction here.
Moving right along to Section 2, the macro math, and how to rebalance your plate.
So think about it. If you cut out almost all of your carbohydrates, you've got to replace those calories with something else just to keep your body functioning, right? Enter the standard ketogenic diet. And just think about that massive 75% fat requirement. We're talking 70 to 75% of your daily energy must now come from fat. Protein sits at a moderate 20%, and carbohydrates? They are squeezed into that tiny little 5% sliver. This is a dramatic reversal from the standard dietary guidelines most of us grew up with. You're essentially eating fat to burn fat.
Next up, Section 3, building your keto menu. Exactly what to eat and what to avoid.
Okay, so what does a diet made of 75% fat actually look like when you're walking down the grocery aisle? Well, right off the bat, you have to completely ditch the grains, pasta, sugary drinks, and even starchy veggies, like potatoes and beans. But instead, you get to hit that fat macro by eating some incredibly rich, satisfying foods. You're actually encouraged to eat fatty salmon, avocados, heavy cream, full-fat cheese, and eggs. And here's a really cool side effect. Because fats are so filling, a lot of people find that their overall hunger naturally drops off.
Let's walk through a typical day in the life on keto. For breakfast, you might whip up some scrambled eggs cooked in real butter, paired with a nice side of avocado. Then for lunch, maybe a grilled chicken salad over leafy greens, topped generously with full-fat blue cheese dressing. And yes, you heard that right. You are actively encouraged to use the full-fat stuff. Finally, for dinner, you could have baked salmon alongside some broccoli sautéed in olive oil. It is a menu absolutely packed with rich, heavy flavors, specifically designed to keep your fat intake up, your carbs down, and your body locked tight in ketosis.
Which brings us to Section 4, surviving the keto flu, adapting to that major low-carb shift.
As you might guess, shifting your body's entire metabolic engine isn't exactly a perfect smooth ride. When you suddenly drop your carbs, your body kind of throws a bit of a tantrum, which is famously known in the community as the keto flu. You might get headaches, feel super weak, or just have really poor concentration. Why? Well, carbohydrates actually help your body hold on to water. So when you drop them, your body rapidly flushes out water along with some vital electrolytes. But don't worry, the fix is super simple. You just have to aggressively rehydrate. We're talking 6 to 8 glasses of water daily, and you need to actively replenish your sodium and potassium. Seriously, just sipping on some full sodium broth can work absolute wonders to smooth things out while your body adapts.
All right, let's jump into Section 5, Breaking Through Plateaus, Why Weight Loss Stalls, and exactly how to fix it.
So, once you're burning fat, things are going great. Until suddenly they aren't. It's the one question that drives dieters absolutely crazy. I'm keeping my carbs under 20 grams. My body is pumping out ketones, so why on earth am I not losing weight? Well, let's uncover the hidden reasons behind a stubborn plateau.
Here's the hard truth, guys. Calories still absolutely matter on keto. Because fats are so incredibly calorie-dense, overeating things like cheese, nuts, and oils can effortlessly wipe out your calorie deficit without you even noticing. Plus, you've got to watch out for those processed keto-friendly snacks because they are notorious for hiding sneaky carbs. But beyond just food, your stall might just be normal water weight fluctuations playing tricks on the scale. Or it could be hormonal. High cortisol levels from stress or bad sleep can literally send a signal to your body telling it to hold on to fat. Crazy, right? And speaking of hormones, we really need to put a special focus here on troubleshooting for women over 50. The literature clearly highlights that aging brings some entirely natural, biological hurdles. For one, there's a natural degeneration of muscle mass as we age, which directly slows down the metabolism. Throw in the hormonal shifts during menopause, specifically that drop in estrogen, and it can totally change how and where your body stores fat, often shifting it right toward the midsection.
To overcome those hurdles, just cutting carbs simply isn't going to cut it. We need a specific, actionable game plan. Step 1. You have got to actively manage your stress to keep that cortisol in check. Step 2. Prioritize your protein. You want to aim for about 1 to 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight to really protect against that natural muscle loss. And Step 3. Lift weights. Strength training builds the muscle that ultimately boosts your resting metabolism. It's a total game changer. Which brings us to our final section, number 6, risks and reality checks. Because we have to ask, is keto right for everyone?
As with any major diet, we've got to keep it real and look at the clinical realities and medical warnings. Look, while the ketogenic diet is an incredibly powerful tool for weight loss and glucose control for a lot of people, the sources are very clear about some distinct risks. Because the diet relies so heavily on fats, it can actually raise LDL, that's the bad cholesterol, in some folks. Also, by severely restricting grains and certain veggies, you run a real risk of missing out on essential dietary fiber and B vitamins. On top of that, it can be notoriously tough to sustain socially. Think about trying to navigate a restaurant menu with friends. And perhaps most importantly, if you stop the diet and just go right back to your old eating habits, it very frequently leads to rapid weight regain.
It's also super important to note that this diet is explicitly not recommended for certain people. Keto is a no-go for individuals with kidney or liver disease, anyone with type 1 diabetes due to a serious risk of ketoacidosis, and women who are pregnant or nursing. Honestly, consulting a doctor or a registered dietitian really needs to be your mandatory first step before attempting a metabolic shift this massive. Which leaves us with one final big question to ponder. Is keto a sustainable lifestyle change for you, or is it just a temporary tool? You now understand the incredible fat-burning mechanics of ketosis, the strict macro math it takes to actually get there, and the very real daily restrictions and health risks involved. It takes commitment, it takes planning, and it honestly requires a complete re-education of how you look at your plate. I really hope this explainer has empowered you with the clear, structured knowledge you need to decide if taking that low-carb plunge is the right move for your body and your life. Keep learning, stay focused, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.